What's up, guys? Joe White here, and I'm going to give my thoughts on NXT Battleground. Came to you from the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. They said it was a sellout, however, you saw a lot of empty seats here. Um, Ever since, WrestleMania, WWE has kind of been struggling to sell out arenas. Look at Glasgow. This coming Friday and Saturday are not sold out, and I don't think they will be sold out. Um, when it kills me because I was watching Wrestling Days earlier, and he was talking about how the prices for tickets are too high in the UK, and he's talking about how families over there are having to choose whether or not to pay their rent or pay their light bill or pay their heating bill. Um, First off, that's what happens when you have natural gas heating pretty much your entire country. Um, thank God we have electric heating over here, or at least I do in my home. There's a lot of people here in North America that still do use gas and propane for their heating in the wintertime, and it's crazy. Um, but however, when it comes to ticket prices, you got to remember, especially for the UK, not so much here for the US, but for the UK, um, you got to pay flights over there and back. They're not taking the WWE. Not all wrestlers are taking the WWE jet over to the UK. So you got to pay for airline tickets. Then you got to pay to send rings over there. Which, yes, there's still probably a couple NXT UK rings they can ship over there, they can use over there, but you then got to pay to get those taken from England to Scotland. Um, you got to pay for setup over there. You got to pay to rent the building. You got to pay there's a lot of factors. It's more expensive to run a show there. So you want it. What do you think's going to happen if they hold a WrestleMania over there? You UK fans, you want to go to WrestleMania and sing your soccer chants and throw your beach balls around and do your stupid hey hey baby. You want to do all that crap, but you don't want to pay for it. You're gonna have to pay for it. You're wanting a company that is not based in the UK to come over there, and you want them. Baseball's getting ready to go over there. I think I heard tickets ain't cheap for that either. Um, when the NFL goes over there, tickets are not cheap for that either. So, um, all I can say, UK goers, is quit your bitching, sing your little nursery rhymes, get drunk, and call it a day. If you think the ticket prices are too expensive, don't go. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Anyway, NXT. Um, I will say that I was expecting this arena, this little NXT Apex, is not suited for pro wrestling. To me, they were constantly having to pipe in crowd noise for this because this crowd was pretty much dead, except for the last two matches. Um, they were having to pipe in like the white noise, like the faint sound of crowd noise in the background. The building itself looked like shit from an aesthetic standpoint. You can get away with that with UFC. Because in a UFC show, the lights come down from the house, with the exception of maybe a few spotlights dotted here and there. But the lights usually come down, and all eyes are on the ring. With wrestling, it's a little bit different when you're fighting outside the ring, and you do have to light the crowd a little bit. Um, and it just didn't look good from an aesthetic standpoint. The Performance Center looks better than this, and the Performance Center is pretty much LED screens set up for the um, entranceway, bleachers all the way around, and then they heavily pipe and drape it. And if you don't know what pipe and drape is, it's pretty much a black cloth that you thread over PVC pipe to get it to hang. And, ROH was the first time I ever seen pipe and drape set up because they had the pipe and drape indoor soccer arenas to get them to look, decent. Otherwise, you see crap in the background like arcade machines and soda machines and stuff like that. But that's all they did to the performance center. They took half of a warehouse and they pipe and drape the hell out of it, put LED boards in, put a lighting rig in from the ceiling, put bleachers in for the crowd, and it looked better. It looks better than this. It's pretty sad. Um, Opened up with the NXT North American title. Golly, that phone screen is bright. Um, let's see here. We had Sexy Red welcoming us to the show, and she just sat there and twerked, and the camera didn't even show it because why would they want to? This woman has no value to me whatsoever as far as from a wrestling standpoint. Um, I will say that Mike Johnson, a PW insider, reported that CM Punk was backstage. Um, he also reported that TNA president Anthony Saccone, or Cyclone, however you say his name, and executive producers Ariel Shiner and Gail Kim were backstage. And TNA is hoping to build a major working relationship with WWE, and I think we saw the tit for tat tonight. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and go on to our first match for the North American title ladder match. Sol Ruka, Kalani Jordan, Lash Legend, Jada Parker, Michin, Fallon Henley. You know, this was this crowd did not react to this at all. You could literally see them sitting on their hands at some of them. And it boggles the mind how a ladder match could get this bumbled up. It really did not look good at all. Kalani, I didn't like the finish at all. Kalani Jordan won. Everybody online is like, who the frick is Kalani Jordan and why is she winning a title? And my answer for that is WWE did their job here. I'm happy with the outcome. Why? Because matches like this, especially when one's for a new title, should be used to make somebody new. And they had to, they made a new star here, whether you like her or not. They made a new star here. Um, I would have liked to see either Michin or Fallon Henley maybe get this. You could have, but those two are already kind of established. Fallon Henley just turned heel. So I think they're on their way to pushing Kalani Jordan here. It's a smart move. And I just didn't like the finish. And I didn't like the match in general. It was a boring ladder match. Really boring. You had Lash Legend taking that crazy bump onto the ladder, and in the end, was it really necessary? No, it just wasn't. Um, Tag Team Championship match: Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus the Good Brothers. Yeah, it was what it was. This is nothing special. Axiom and Frazier retained. Frazier came off the top of the Phoenix Splash that was totally botched. He didn't land it right. Again, another match where the crowd really wasn't into it. I wasn't really into it, and this is not one of this is probably one of the worst NXT pay-per-views that they've ever done from a getting heat standpoint, from a match quality standpoint, from a big match feel standpoint. This was a two-match show, and it ended up being a one-match show because, well, we'll get to it later. NXT Underground match. Shayna Baszler versus Lola Vice. Lola Vice here, I get the whole, we got to put, braid our hair and like make it look like dreads or whatever for this thing because we're MMA fighters and that's what Ronda Rousey does. So that's what we got to do too. And I hated this. I hated this. And I get why they didn't. I would have liked to see them go, hey, we're going to put this in an octagon. But no, they had to go this underground bullshit with the people slapping the mat on the outside of the ring, and we got to get them involved because they're there, and we got to make them part of the finish. This sucked. This absolutely sucked. From bell to bell, it sucked. I hope we never see an underground match again. Now, the two women did work hard here. I will say that, especially Shayna Baszler. But there was a lot of stuff in this that was botched because that's what happens when you try to make it look even more real than what you normally do. When you try to work a shoot like this, instead of having an actual pro wrestling match, it gets really screwed up and funny, as they say. But I didn't like this at all. The right person won the match, but I didn't like the match. I didn't like this at all. Golly, so far 3 matches in a row that I could have cared less about. And it's not the finishes. The finishes were right. Axiom and Nathan Fraser should have won. Kalani Jordan, I have no problem with her winning because it creates a new star. This match right here, the right person won. It was just the overall presentation and execution of the matches. And then you got the constant bickering old couple and Vic Joseph. Nice to see you took my advice and wore a suit. And Booker T, you need to get one of these two guys out of there. You need to get Vic. I'm sorry, Booker, but you need to get Booker T out of this spot. It makes me miss as much as I can't stand him because one wrong thing on Twitter and I have a nervous breakdown. Mauro Ranallo, but I like Mauro Ranallo's commentary and I like his work. I may not like the fact that he can't take a pill and just not look at Twitter for a day, but that's a different story. Anyway, there's a lot of women's matches on this show, a lot of women representation, if you will, on this show. We had another Eddie Thorpe video package, and this kind of just was like, oh God, really? With the my people and the representation, and then they show the Briscoe brothers who do have Indian in them. Then they show Chief Jay Strongbow, who is not a Native American, and Wahoo McDaniel, who I don't think was an American. He may have been. I don't know. I have to look it up. But Strongbow was not an American. He was an or Native American. He was an Italian. And it's just like, God damn, you just stop. Stop with the woke bull crap. And the way the way I know they've been showing that video package for a while now, but the way the way he talks during that, he comes across like a complete robot. My eyes are clear. My heart is pure. My eyes are open, and I'm coming to represent Native America. You might as well have looked at the screen and went, "How?" Because that's the way this came across. Either what's going to happen when he loses a match? They're going to cut to his close up on his face, and you're just going to see a single tear running down his eye as fans throw trash in the ring. Because you might as well do that. For those who remember the old litter commercials, you get what I mean. But this is utter crap of how I'm Chief What's His Face. I will sit around the fire and clear my head so I can make. That's what this came off as. It's stupid. Anyway, he's debuting next week. They announced that the next NXT pay per view will be on July 7th in Toronto for Heatwave, which is crazy because Money in the Bank is on a Saturday. This will be on a Sunday. Um, yeah, that's weird to me, but okay. And that's where Julia is supposed to debut. So I think that's going to be, we got a month to prepare for that. Julia just went under wrist surgery, but you could still cut, you know, promos. You can wear a brace on your wrist and hope to God that you're ready to go by the time that gets here. Or they could set up something else with her and, but, well, we'll get there. We'll get there. North American champion. Obafemi, Wesley, Joe Coffey. Typical WWE triple threat. Nothing special here. Again, nothing special with this. This pay per view. I mean, they worked their butts off, but the absolute booking, along with the crowd reaction, was just meh. Obafemi wins. Just get the title off this guy already. Nobody cares about him. Nobody cares about him. I was high on him when he very first started, but now it's just like he's a lame duck, man. A complete lame duck. Wendy Chu is going to return on Tuesday, and curious to see what they're doing with her because she, in the mirror, if you look at her in the mirror, she's got the black lipstick and the dark eyes, and could she be Roxanne Perez's next champions or next challenger? Speaking of which, very good match right here. Very good. Probably the best match on the show. Um, Roxanne Perez versus Jordynne Grace. Very good here. Roxanne Perez got carried through this match by Jordynne Grace. It was obvious who was calling the match. It was pretty obvious who was calling this match. Um, and I said it on Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it this week, that if and when she is able, if slash when she is able to sign it, meaning if TNA can let her out of her contract or whenever her contract is up, which is supposedly January of 2025, Jordynne Grace just earned her WWE contract. So this match was very good. A lot of back and forth. These women busted their ass and worked hard. Very hard hitting stuff, or at least it looked that way. Very good spots. Jordynne Grace is a star. She has it. And it's not just her bodybuilding, because, again, I'm not going to go there. I like Jordynne Grace's work. Just wish this was 5 years ago, Jordynne Grace getting this push instead of the Jordynne Grace now. That's all I'll say. But a lot of power moves here by Grace. Muscle going from our muscle buster, even getting at one point. I didn't necessarily agree with the finish, but they did allude to this last Tuesday. Tatum Paxley going, oh, your title means a lot to me too. And she comes out and tries to steal the title. And then Ash by Elegance, or Dana Brooke, whatever we're calling her now, because Big Joseph goes, that's NXT or former NXT Ash by Elegance. So Ash by Elegance comes out, clobbers clobbers Tatum, and then Jordynne Grace, because they've got their hands on Jordynne Grace's title, and that's the one thing you don't do is touch a champion's title without their permission. Good stuff here. Um, Grace pretty much fends both of them off and hits both of them, comes back in the ring. We get a hell of a counter to the Juggernaut Driver into the Pop Rocks for the win. This match was awesome. Go out of your way to watch this because Jordynne Grace, just like I said, she just earned her WWE contract. I wasn't sure why she signed with. She's not going to AEW because of the way Tony Khan treated her husband, who is former ROH champion Jonathan Gresham. Um, so she's not going to AEW because her husband hates Tony Khan. Why would you know? That's a political thing, and maybe a work rate thing too, because of look at the women working over there. Besides a few of them, what have you got? But she would fit in with NXT, and like I said, if once January gets here, I was surprised she re-signed with TNA in the first place. That's all I'll say. She could have went probably to NXT right then and there, but this enables her to leverage for more money because now she's been on TV and she knows what she means to the audience and how that audience is going to react to her, and you can use that as leverage. That's a downside of bringing in talent from another promotion is that when you choose to sign them, their value is skyrocketed because they've been on your TV. But anyway, this was great. And then you had Trick Williams versus Ethan Page. You could tell that they had some stuff rehearsed, but this is just meh. Wasn't bad, wasn't good. Kind of figured Ethan won't win the title, even though that would have been cool. But it was a match. Not as good as the women's match. And I agree with what Mike Johnson said on PW Insider that Roxanne Perez and Jordynne Grace should have main evented. But we did get a main event again. Trick Williams, All Ego, Ethan Page. I do not like Ethan Page's theme music at all. I like the entrance, just not the theme music. And Trick Williams is over. But the thing with this match is, I mean, if I had to give this match a star rating, it's a damn 2 3/4 to a 3. Um, their timing was off during this. You could tell that they didn't have a whole lot of time to rehearse this. And to me, these two are like oil and water. I never want to see these two wrestle again because it just looked like they were going through the motions. It wasn't anything special. And I'm curious to see what they do with Ethan Page now because when you have a guy debut and it's in a world title match and he loses, it's like, okay, well, we know you can't beat him. What next? So that's what I feel like happened here. Yeah, we know you beat the guy who was underground with, or who, you beat the guy who just came in. Now what's next for the guy who just came in? Because he just lost the title match. It just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, folks, that's my thoughts on Battleground. No Joe Hendry. God, I must be the only guy that hates that song. I can't stand it. He other than the song, what does he do? And just because the UK morons took that stupid song to the top of their charts doesn't make it a good song. It makes the UK fans idiots. Anyway, folks, that's going to do it for me. We'll see you down the road.